Well, Gambian health and medical luminaries today delivered various papers and lectures at a high-profile women's health conference organized by a U.S.-based Gambian and young medical students of the Gambia. The conference adopted the theme Female Reproductive Health. Aji Amisise reports conference delegates looked at the effects of breast cancer, maternal mortality, and other health issues.
With the realization that many Gambian youth living in the diaspora are relatively detached from their country of their origin, a pre-med student, Mamasa Kamara, currently on a study tour in the Gambia, is looking at ways and means of raising living standards in the country. A women's health conference addressing female reproductive health was staged following 2 health fairs where they offered free screenings to the general public.
9 months ago, I decided that I wanted to organize a women's health conference. I decided that I wanted to be a part of a dynamic group of youth ready to contribute to the medical advancement of the Gambia, actively contributing to a society where people no longer lost their lives to diseases and illnesses curable and preventable by today's medical advances.
Maternal mortality, breast cancer, cervical cancer, and female genital mutilation took prominence in deliberations by veterans in the health domain, owing to the rather disturbing effects these diseases continue to pose to Gambian women.
Which if they are aware of it and they come for a simple test, they will not end up with coming, then it's so advanced cancer that we cannot help them. And I'm telling you, it is heartbreaking for any gynecologist, examine a patient who come to the clinic and then you just stand in front of the patient and you say, I'm sorry, you are far advanced and it's not what I can do. And then more heartbreaking is because these kind of women, they are very young women. They are the age between 18 and 25 and then 30 years of age.
This collaboration of Gambians of the diaspora and Gambians at home is hoped to serve as a foundation for future endeavors where vital building information is shared with women at grassroots level.
There are different ways of approaching human health, but female reproductive health is very one efficient and relevant one because therein lies the health of everybody else in society. And they have chosen a few topics out of that vast field of female reproductive health. And I'm sure the presenters and the subsequent discussions will make an impact in terms of not just informing, but also in stimulating reflection about the ways forward with some of those issues.
The first Free Young Doctors Public Health Conference, seeking to eradicate the misconceptions of female reproductive health, created a fluid environment between health specialists and participants, gaining a clear perspective on the reality of reproductive health. For Grts News, I am Aji Amisise.
Operatives of the National Drug Enforcement Agency have made a wave of arrests, netting a number of suspected narco traffickers across the country. In the process, the development comes as the agency intensifies efforts at disrupting the flow of illicit substances in the Gambia. Aisa Tumane was at the NDA briefing and she now tells us more.
A 7-hour undercover operation conducted in the West Coast region by operatives of the National Drug Enforcement Agency on the 11th of July resulted in the arrest of 4 men who were believed to be in possession of cannabis sativa. Lamin Sise, Momodu Ba, Mohamed Conte and Momodu Bari were arrested in Jimara, Fatoto and Brikama with over 30 kilograms of cannabis.
On the 11th of July 2012, NDA operatives at Birkama embarked on an undercover operation at the outskirts of Jiboro village in the West Coast region of the Gambia. These undercover operations lasted for 7 hours. It starts at about 2100 hours and ends at 4 a.m. the following morning, that is on the 12th. However, during the course of these undercover operations, 4 suspects were arrested on different time with several quantities of cannabis.
The 4 are now under custody and helping anti-narcotic officers in their investigations. In a similar but separate development, Mamadou Diallo, alias Pepe, a notorious dealer according to the National Drug Enforcement Agency Public Relations Officer of Farato, was also nabbed at Jiboro with 11 bundles of suspected cannabis.
One Mamadou Diallo, alias Pepe of Farato village, who is a notorious drug dealer in the wanting list of the NDA. He was arrested in an undercover operation on the 6th of July at about 3 a.m. in the morning at the outskirts of Jiboro village. He was arrested with 11 bundles of suspected cannabis weighing 12 kilograms, 560 grams. The suspect has been under surveillance with the NDA until on the 5th, when we got information that he will be traveling the following day to collect his cannabis consignment. As a result, we later we mounted an undercover surveillance, and he was arrested immediately upon entry at Jiboro village.
And Sujame and Sheikh Tijan Sane, residents of Brikama and Farato respectively, were also arrested with the said substance. The rise in the trafficking and dealing of cannabis sativa is worrying, and this, according to Ablai Sise, is due to trafficking of the illicit substance across porous borders.
We should definitely agree with the fact that due to the geographical boundary or geographical location of West Coast region, definitely this being the case, that is why the region is definitely vulnerable when it comes to drug trafficking. There are a lot of porous borders within that area, and everybody knows that the neighboring country of the southern region of Casamance is definitely neighboring with the region, and it is obvious that there is a rebellion going on there, and the Senegalese authorities didn't have full control over that area. So that is why, according to our statistics, many of these seizures, when you investigate, you will see that the suspects carry it from Casamance to the Gambia.
The fight against the use of drugs and its trafficking, according to the NDA PRO, must involve all, since people are either directly or indirectly affected by a menace that poses a threat to the country's youthful population.
We, the NDEA, definitely we are urging the general public, particularly those who are living within the borders, to be very much vigilant in terms of illegal activities that are taking place within their environment, particularly drug trafficking. And the NDA is never complacent and will never be complacent in terms of tracking down drug traffickers who are bringing drugs into the country, particularly narcotic drugs.
Reporting unusual cases and suspects, according to officials, will go a long way in helping nab dealers of the substance, and authorities say they protect their informants at all costs. For Grts News, I am Aissatou Mane.
Well, you can follow that story and other Grts programs live on our website, and that's on www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor Grts Radio live. Time now to take our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look at news from outside the Gambia.
What's your AfriCell number?
773.
What's your mobile number?
735.
What's your AfriCell number?
746.
What's your number?
My number is 215. 2?
You mean 72?
No, it's 2, and I am AfriCell 2.
AfriCell 2? Hey, hey!
Yes, 2 is AfriCell 2.
Hey, hey!
AfriCell introduces the new AfriCell series, the number 2.
Welcoming the number 2 to the AfriCell family.
From now on, the AfriCell lines will not only start with the number 7, but also with the number 2.
Get a new AfriCell SIM card now that starts with the number 2.
So now I can get an AfriCell number that starts with the number 2?
Yes, and when you receive a call from a number starting with the number 2, it's one of the new AfriCell lines calling you. My mobile number is 2, and
we are AfriCell 2!
Welcome back to the news. UN forces and Congolese military choppers have fired on positions held by M23 fighters who have driven DR Congo's troops from much of the east of the country. UN helicopter gunships joined Congolese choppers in renewed attacks on M23 positions in the Ituri region near the town of Goma. Senior rebel fighters called the UN and DR Congo offensive a serious provocation and one of severe consequences. We have details in this report.
United Nations forces in Goma are deploying around the city in a bid to stop any rebel attack. Ethnic Tutsi M23 rebels have made strong advances towards Goma and around North Kivu over the past week. The region has been the scene of warring factions ever since the 1994 Rwandan genocide spilled over the border. But this time,